Hey folks, good morning. Joe Mangiacotti here, and the Joe Mangiacotti Show is coming up shortly at 6 a.m. on flagship station AM 830 WCRN, as well as our affiliate AM 730 WACE. You can join the conversation at 508-871-7000. Lot to talk about today. The impeachment inquiry hearings, the public ones, or at least the public ones that Adam Shifty Schiff wants to be out there. Well, they continue to take depositions and interviews in the Shifty Shift Sift, in the basement, right? Well, I'll tell you, it's so transparent, isn't it? So he only puts forth those witnesses he feels will fit the narrative and do the most damage. The Republicans aren't allowed to ask questions. Well, here's some audio today about that. Shutting down Republicans. Remember I told you about the Rule 660 that they put in place just before all this started, which gives all of this procedural and parliamentary authority to Adam Shifty Schiff. And when he's out of the skiff and Shifty Schiff's in the actual chambers of commerce, he doesn't like that. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like the witnesses. So he wants to make sure that he's only going to put in public eye people that fit that narrative. They didn't all fall in place, though. There were a couple of things that got out that I'm sure he didn't want to have heard by the American people. Meanwhile, the president is watching this. Well, he's still continuing to do those things the president is supposed to do, like meeting with the president of Turkey and doing legislation and policy that will reduce the cost of prescriptions, things that Congress itself should be paying attention to. But he reaches over the congressional heads and he does what he has always had to do and go right to the American people, and he tweets out. And then they try to call this witness intimidation. First of all, this isn't a trial, so you can't intimidate the witness. But second is, there was no intimidation there. You know, he may have cracked on her abilities or her past posts and things of that nature, but hey, he's the president. He's Trump. He does that, and get used to it. On one hand, we're being told that Ambassador Yanovich is this incredibly powerful woman, instead of just saying she's an incredibly powerful person who has dealt with all kinds of adversaries and adverse conditions. But this is supposed to intimidate her. I don't buy it for a moment. It's not. It's just I don't buy it for a moment, okay? This whole proceeding is embarrassing because you have the Democrats taking a poll. Yes, get this. They did a focus group on the word to best use in this phony narrative that they're doing, and they found that quid pro quo wasn't quite cutting it. So they found that bribery hit the chord, right? Bribery was the word to use. They've changed the narrative to now say bribery. Look, if you're using a focus group to figure out the best words to use to try to impeach a president, I think you've lost the entire process right there and then. The founding fathers, at no point in their deliberation in setting this all up, said, well, don't forget that the party who was going to use this as a political weapon against the other party needs to do a focus group. And based on the focus group, that's the word they'll use. Wow. If the founding fathers could see what's happening today, what kind of changes do you think would be made to the Constitution, as well as the Bill of Rights? I'm thinking term limits would be at the top of that list. Well, more on this, as well as hour 2 at 7 o'clock, Dr. Larry Federwell will join us. We'll get his take on the proceedings this week and where this is all headed. I'm Joe Mangiacotti, and I'll see you on the radio.